Hey guys, Rise here again, bringing you set 2, Savior versus Pusan. Wow, a couple of players that, well, that's not, I was going to say a couple of players that you may not have been hearing that much about lately, but you know what, that's not true. Savior has been back in the game. Whether he's been fantastic or not, that's up for debate, but in general, he is back. He's doing a pretty good job at his games, and in 1 second, I will tell you his record. I just got to make sure I don't spoil the match. But Savior has won his last 3 games, and but he's 3 for 5 or 4 for 6. So you know he's doing pretty good right now. He really is doing pretty good. And Savior's ZVP is his best matchup by far. Even after his big slumps, he's still 66% ZVP. It's amazing. Pusan, on the other hand, again, let me just make sure I'm not spoiling myself. It's a beautiful thing that TL has where you can actually choose the time period that you want to see the database games from. So I always use that, by the way, for my stats. And, ooh, don't worry, I caught that. Actually, is that an older Korean woman? I don't know. Ah, Naura! I love you, Naura! I wonder if it's Naura's parents or something. They might be watching. Anyway, Pusan, on the other hand, first off, he hasn't been playing many Zergs. If you look at his game distribution, he's played a ton of Protoss and Terran. But he's been doing fantastic. He's been winning a lot of his games. It looks like he's somewhere like 10 for 12 games. Or 10 for 13 games right here. But the names that he's been beating haven't been the biggest names. I mean, have you heard of Purple? Have you heard of the player Protoss? Who names him? What Protoss player names himself Protoss? Ooh, cute girl. Oh, the girl on the right was, oh, God. Ugh. Anyway, he's beaten Rage, he's beaten M18M, he's beaten 4GG, which is a notable name, and Kanata, which is a notable name. He's beaten Best, which is a very notable name, and then he's beaten he's lost to Jangbi, which is funny because Jangbi has not been playing all that well lately. So is it really a notable name? Not so much. So we got 3, 6, 12. It looks like we saw a 12 pool coming from Savior. I might be wrong there because I didn't count. I'm just looking at his drones at this point. So it could have been a 9 pool. I don't know. But either way, it looks like he's going to put on some early pressure. And I think it was a 12 pool into expansion. That's my guess. And if I'm wrong, sorry, but it shouldn't be too big of a deal. By the way, I guess I should mention they're playing on Tornado, obviously one of the newer maps. I went over this map last time in my last series. I'm not going to go, I'll go into it real quick. So I'll bring up the map right now for a couple of seconds as Savior chases around scouting probe with his Lings. You can see that there is a interesting raised ridge above the natural expansion. That can be good. I say that plays more of a role in Terran versus like Protoss or Terran versus Terran or Terran versus Zerg. I mean, really, Terran versus anything. ZVP, yeah, it can certainly play a role as well with lurker play. Or in general, a lot of units can take advantage of the ramp, but you see it most with tanks and lurkers and Muta and things like that. But Muta not going to have that great of an effect on it. It's going to be mostly lurkers. So really, that's the only thing of note that I like to point out on this map. Other than the middle is nice and open, but I don't foresee players using the middle all that much. I mean, it's certainly going to be part of the play, but mostly. I mean, and interestingly enough, these directions that they're playing on, excuse me, my voice. It's pretty direct. I mean, Pusan is in the, I didn't even mention this. Pusan's in the 1 o'clock position, the Protoss player. Savior, of course, is the Zerg player in the 10 or 11 o'clock position. It's a pretty direct game here. If you look at the positions on the map, they don't have to, they could actually play this game without ever touching the lower 50% of the map. Of course, that's where they are right now, but they could play it without it. Although, it looks like, does Savior have another hatchery in the 6 o'clock position? What's going on here? Wow. So Savior being a little ballsy here, trying to take, if you look at the map, he's trying to take a somewhat defendable hidden expansion. It's hard to put that, but easier to defend. So if he can take that expansion, basically, if he can defend that expansion, he can take a 4th easily because the 4th is the inside main to that 6 o'clock expansion that he took. I hope I'm not confusing you with the way I'm talking here. It's kind of hard to say, but Savior is basically playing a game where, all right, I'm going to take the risky expansion first because if I can defend that, successfully, which I believe I can, I'm confident in my micro, I'll be able to get that fourth and get that fourth gas much quicker than I would otherwise. And I like that play. I do. Especially against a build like what we're seeing. The thing is, he's got to make sure that he doesn't over macro, and he makes sure that he makes defensive units while scouting what Pusan is doing. Because Pusan, if he decides to move out, start putting a lot of pressure onto that third, you can see that the distance to get there for Xavier is pretty far. But on the plus side, it's even further for Pusan. So I think Xavier made a good play in taking that base because he'll be able to defend it easier and get reinforcements there quicker than Pusan can. But at the same time, you can get a fourth as well. At the same time, you can also get a fourth very easily, assuming he can defend that third. So we'll see how this works out for Xavier, of course. But again, I like this play. Pusan, on the other hand, is going for a very standard build, what I had expected to see last game. He's getting that Corsair out, and he's getting a Citadel down early. So I'm guessing he's going to get a Templar Archives very shortly after that. And maybe we'll see a 4-gate Zealot Archon, or maybe we'll see some DTs pop out. Scouting Overlord's going to be sacrificed, but I like this by Xavier once again. He sees what Pusan is doing, so we can prepare that third. Do I need to make Sunkens there? I'd rather not spend the money if I don't have to, but if I have to, I will put some Sunkens there. Now, Xavier, smart player. Despite slumping at any time, he's a genius when it comes to strategy. He has seen every possible game that you could possibly see in StarCraft. You know, he's played in every situation. And because of that, he always has great game sense. Whether it fails him sometimes with his coordination or otherwise, micro, macro, whatever, he has the game sense to know what's going on. So, you know, Xavier, despite having a bad slump at times, if he's on point, he is a terrifying player for anyone to play against. Now, I'm not going to say that Xavier's back in his prime by any means, but if you've been watching Xavier play lately, he has that confidence again that he had oh so long ago. And even if he's lost in the meantime, those losses have no longer made the same confidence hits that he has taken in the past. A lot of times you'll see Xavier is an emo player. I love to call him an emo player because it's true. He really is. But I feel like he's started to finally move away from that. If you watch his play lately, it's just so much more calm-based play, meaning he doesn't let things get out of hand. He doesn't let his emotions affect his game as much. I'm sure they still do because you can't really change your personality completely and all of a sudden not be affected by that. And look at this. He's doing a beautiful building placement protection here. He's got locked-in Sunkens. He's got Overlords out on the field. He's going to see those DTs coming out. He's very well aware. At the same time, he's got Scourge. I love it. He's got Scourge to protect against Corsairs that may try to go in. And he knows this is coming. He knows that Corsairs are going to try to take out those Overlords there as 3 come in. But you know what? He's got 8 Scourges ready to take them out. And those DTs are rendered useless. They're not going to be killed, but they are useless. And, oh, Scourge trying to take out all the Corsairs. They managed to get 1 down. And that's important. Even 1 Corsair is huge because once those Corsairs hit that critical mass, it becomes a pain later on. And basically, you have to rely on Hydras and or Spores to take them out, and nobody wants to build Spores ever. I mean, in ZVP, it sucks to build Spores. It really does because there's only 1 unit that they're going to defend against in the ZVP, and that's a Corsair. And who wants to make a building specifically for defending against them? And now we got Muta out on the field, and this is a great decision in my opinion. He's already started to take away the air superiority coming from Pusan, and they're beautiful for exactly this, picking off DTs. I mean, DTs are a hassle to take out if you have Zerglings because they can do a really good, they're fast as speed zones, and they can do a great job at running away from Zerglings and getting out of the range of an Overlord. So the fact is, those Mutas are going to do a lot more damage quicker than any Zergling group could. I mean, barring a great surround that I don't see happening. Anyway, I keep going off on tangents here. I hope you guys don't mind. So it looks like Xavier is getting up an Evo Chamber. He's obviously going to be thinking about Hydra upgrades at this point, Carapace most notably. And I like this. I think that this is already a great way to play this game. He instead of leading out with Hydras, he's actually leading out with air. And by doing this, he forces a couple of options. One, the attacks that we would see from Pusan are being delayed because how is he going to go with Zealots against Muta? Obviously, it's just not going to work out from him, especially with the beautifully defended building placement base defenses that Savior's put in place. He had to wait for either that Archon that we see there or more Corsairs, and he is definitely going for a very heavy Zealot Archon build, which certainly is a good build to go. But now, look at this. Savior just able to pick off, with careful micro, is able to pick off Zealots around those Archons. And now we're seeing 4 Corsairs out on the field. But frankly, it's not enough for the amount of Scourge that are out as well because they're not going to be able to one-shot those Scourge. Now we're seeing wow, this is ballsy by Pusan. I'm guessing he hasn't scouted the front door of Savior in a while, but Savior is in a great position to defend this. Look at this. He's got 4 Sunkens. Very nice. And a ton of Scourge, but he's got to watch out because those Scourge can get one-shot by Archons, depending on the upgrades of the Archons, and I haven't checked the upgrades. We got +1 Carapace on those Muta, by the way, so that's not only going to affect the Muta, but the Scourge as well. So even if there's a +1 upgrade on those Corsairs, they're going to be able to take extra hits. There are 5 Corsairs out on the field now, though, and Pusan